everybody and welcome to the channel Bob Sales This Times Next Year. So hello everybody and welcome to the channel Bob Sales This Times Next Year. So I've missed everyone this week. I must admit I have gone from Bob Sales in Veve to Bob the Builder on the roof. So yeah, that roof is now done. So I'm now a free man. I can now be Bob Sales again. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back. So I have missed a couple of big things this week. I must admit, I missed the Veveverse kind of demo that wasn't a demo, but yeah, so we'll get into that. I am going to take a quick look at this Hawkeye and Kate Bishop Ronin drop. Not the greatest drop in the world, but we'll get into that as well. And then I did want to kind of gloss over the Simpsons episode because I did see a bit of that. So first off, we're going to start with the Hawkeye Ronin drop. So yeah, as you can see, we're getting Hawkeye and Kate Bishop animated digital collectibles. They drop individually in waitlist format, Sunday the 12th of November, 8 AM PT, which of course is today. So let's just take a quick look at these collectibles themselves. So we'll actually, no, in fact, I won't play that because I will.
Today, we're going to talk about your opportunity to craft a limited edition cel-shaded animated dual-wielding Ronin on Veve from Marvel. Let's get into it. Coming to Veve from Marvel, we're getting 3 beautiful and animated cel-shaded characters. Hawkeye at 1500 editions, Kate Bishop at 900, and Ronin at 600. Each of these collectibles have a retail price of 50 gems. From Marvel, we're getting 3 beautiful and animated cel-shaded characters. Hawkeye at 1500 editions, Kate Bishop at 900, and Ronin at 600. Each of these collectibles have a retail.
So let's get into the rest of the article. So the first one is animated with sound and it's the Hawkeye. And again, this is a cel shading technique, the new technique they're using. And I'm not a big fan of this technique. Now for the X-Men, I kind of was a fan because I could kind of get it was from the cartoon. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. So let's take a look at the actual drop. So the list price for these collectibles is going to be 50 gems. The edition for Hawkeye is 1,500. Here's the ultra rare variant, and this is the first appearance. First public edition for sale is going to be 41. And I believe a total of 90 editions will be kept by Veve and the licensors. Let's just check that quickly. And a total of 90 editions will be withheld by Veve and the licensors. So going back up, so Hawkeye again is animated with sound. Again, there's not much sound with these, it's just more the arrow pull. So there's 1,500 editions. Okay, 50 gems is way too much for Hawkeye in my opinion. Not the biggest FA character in the world. The next one is Kate Bishop. We do have Kate Bishop on a couple of good comic covers in Veve, and some of them were really well priced at the time. When they dropped, they were really well sought after. And I do actually like a couple of the covers she's on. But again, not the most famous character. And she's animated with no sound. So for some reason, the other two have got sound. But she don't have no arrow sound, no nothing. That don't make sense to me. I don't know why you just not add a little quick whip of the arrow in there. Again, the list price is 50 gems. And the editions is 900. So the editions are not too bad. Now, the collectible itself is one of the better ones. I think that's my favourite out of all of these. But again, that is not worth 50 gems. And I'm not sure if you can see that at the top of the head there. Let me just see if I can zoom in. Okay, you're not going to let me zoom in, are you? That must be the hair part in there, but it does just look like a chunk's been bit out of the hair. I'm sure that's just the hair part in right there. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The animated Ronin, the secret rare, is actually a crafting collectible. So let's have a look at this. So Ronin is actually the bad, basically the Hawkeye, but a bad version of Hawkeye. Let's have a look. Holders of both the Hawkeye and Kate Bishop digital collectibles purchased either from the store or market will be eligible for the craft. So you have to have both collectibles and they can be brought by store or market. 50 gems is a lot of money to go for one of these. Even if you brought both of these, it's 60 gems. And there is a list price here as well. So there's a list price here of 50 gems as well. So you're getting to keep... So by looks of this, the collectible is not going to burn. So that's a good thing. You don't burn the collectibles. I do like that fact. You do get to keep the other collectibles. But if you buy both off drop, it's going to cost you 100 gems. And then if you're going to go for the crafting, that's another 50 gems. In my opinion, when you're doing crafting and stuff like that, when you're doing crafting utilities, stuff like that, I don't think you should be charging for that. So that actually really spoils this drop. I'm not going to lie to you, that spoils it. I don't see many people doing the craft, but then because many people are not going to do, there's only 600 available to be able to do the craft, and I'm not sure 600 of these are actually going to get minted. So it may make this really, really extremely rare, but then if that does happen, more are going to get minted, the price will go back down, right? So I'm not sure how I feel about this drop. Again, with a cell shading technique, I'm not a big fan of that. Ronin actually looks pretty cool, the animated one. I do actually like Ronin. But again, I've never heard of Ronin. I don't know about you guys, but I have never heard of Ronin. I've barely heard of Kate Bishop. And Hawkeye's just one of them characters where he's kind of like a filmy character, like a filling character. I wouldn't say he's a big FA. So yeah, for me, I'm definitely not going for that drop. I think the cheapest you're going to be able to get it is 60 gems for the 2 collectibles, maybe in the aftermarket. But then you still got to pay the 50 gems for the Ronin. So all in, I think it's going to cost you about 110, 120 gems. And I don't think that's going to be worth it. Yes, you are getting free collectibles. But I think once you get the free collectibles, I think the Bishop and the Hawkeye are going to be 20 gems in the aftermarket. I honestly do think that. Not sure about Ronin because I'm not sure how many editions are going to get minted. But again, if the price does rocket, more editions are going to get minted. That will kill the price again. So yeah, this is definitely a hard pass for me, and it is today. But I will not be going for this drop. I did just want to give you a brief overview of that one because I haven't done any drop videos this week. The last one I did was for the Jurassic Park set, which is a really good set, by the way. And the gate is doing actually surprisingly well at the minute. Still Goes Meta did an interview with Dan, one of the CEOs of Veve, and they actually released a tease for the Veveverse. I'm not sure how to think about this. So me and BE, Mr. Informant himself, if you don't know that channel, go check that out. It does a lot of drop streams, and normally we're together. And then there's Mo Knows as well. Does a lot of PFL and does a lot of drop streams as well. Great channel. But yeah, I kind of done my Veveverse review there because at the time I was working, come home, see he was on, so join there. So if you have watched that, this may seem like a bit of a repeat, but I did want to do it on my own channel so everyone could see I'm still here. And I am going to start doing the drop videos again next week. So all of that stuff's going to come, and I can't wait to get into some of this stuff. So I'll just play this video. So that was the Veveverse kind of teaser we got. And again, this is not a VV made video. This is from Tales from the Rizzo. Where is it? Here we go. So it's from Tales from the Rizzo, and credit to the guy. This must have took the guy, he's probably been beta testing for a while now, and this has probably took him probably a good 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. So credit to the guy before I carry on saying anything else about this. So there's a couple of things. There's good and bad in this video. There's good and bad in this video. So we'll play the video again, but I'll play it without sound. In fact, I'll put the sound on a little bit. So there's a couple of good things I can already see in here. Now, where should we start? So we'll start with the road. So the road itself looks absolutely cartoon, and it looks pretty terrible, I'm not going to lie. And everything around looks kind of blocky. Looks really, really blocky. But again, this is a creation. This is just one aspect. Now, as you can see, there is DeLorean driving there. The Coke truck is about to come past, and I think that's Kit over the back there. So yeah, some of these cars don't actually move. The Coke truck does not move. But as you can see here, the positive here is the Coke truck is driving about. Now, it's only driving on a course, and I believe Tales from the Rizzo confirmed that you could actually set a course for a vehicle to follow. So a set pattern. It's not someone actually driving it, it's a set pattern, right? Which I still think is pretty good. It's a non-animated vehicle. You can move the non-animated vehicle. If you can do that with a car, I can imagine you should be able to do that with a collectible. The only thing is it will look like it's sliding. So if you had a collectible on a skateboard, for instance, that would look kind of cool. You could slide that along the floor, right? But if you had a collectible with 2 legs, obviously the 2 legs are not going to be moving at this point. So I'm not sure how far we can go with that just yet. And another thing I did notice, all the collectibles used in this are still. That is one of the other things noted here. All of them are still. But then all of the Batman stuff in the app, all of the cartoon Batman stuff, the black and white Batman stuff even, most of it, well, I think all of it is non-animated, right? And it's some of the early collectibles. And again, this is a themed space. I think the guy is going for Arkham Asylum, Batman going after Arkham Asylum. It's literally Gotham City, Arkham Asylum. And I think he's done a really good job. And it's themed. So there's only so many collectibles that are being showcased right now. You can see there's posters in here too. Obviously, the aliens up there. I do really like that poster, by the way. And again, all of this is a background. Now, I'm not sure whether this is an actual poster we have in the VV app. It could well be, because there are some fascinating posters, but I don't recognize it. But that looks like an imported picture to me. That's all that background there is all still and stale. That is a still picture. And it still looks pretty cool. Motel sign up there. I do like that. He's made a nice motel sign. That's pretty cool. So all the buildings, they do look kind of blocky. There's no look whether we can go inside any of the buildings or not. That was not done. And where the buildings actually come from, we don't know yet. So I'll just play again. So there is one problem I did notice with the Coke truck, and you're probably seeing it right now. It's a little bit in the ground, so it's definitely not perfect, as you can see. And the back end looks like it's kind of wobbling a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely not perfect. You can see the wheels are in the ground right there. But the DeLorean, that looks perfect. That looks perfect. But I believe that's just literally how it was set. As you can see, it's definitely in the ground, right? And here we can also see we have the normal Coke truck face, although it looks a little bit like it's cut off there a little bit. But yeah, the Coke truck does look really good, especially near the gate. We'll get to that bit in a minute. What is that car? So that actually looks like Kit. But why is it white? Let me just have a look at that. Not 100% sure on that car. Again, you can see screens on billboards here, moving screens. So I can imagine you could basically download a GIF, download an image, and just pull it onto each individual screen. Now that glass actually looks pretty cool there. I like the effect he's done on the glass. Again, you can see the Addiction comic up here, so the comics are in there. So yeah, this bit's really cool. I really like this bit. So this is one of the bits I do like. So here you can see the path, and the path looks really nice. Here the path looks really nice, whereas the lighting effect on the balloon don't look as good. But where was the balloon from? That is another plus. It's something we don't have in Veve. It's something that's been imported in. So there is other things we can import in. That's just showcasing that aspect. But the beaming on this doesn't look great. Searchlights, I can see what you went for, but it don't look great. Again, you just see the glider fly across. Now here, the fence. This looks really nice. I really like this. Now again, when you look at the top view, it doesn't look great, does it? And obviously, because it's been built manually, you can see the bends in the buildings. That's not straight to that one. And I mean, how many hours could you spend in here doing this? But again, from the top view, it doesn't look great from the top view. Now, this bit's my favourite bit of the video, I would say. I like this whole setup here. And the way that mask has been used there, the James Bond mask kind of made it look kind of like Bane. I really like that. And again, the glider is moving there. But I'm not 100% sure Harley Quinn is actually sat in that glider grinder. I'm not sure Harley Quinn is actually sat in that. So here, when you see the image of Harley Quinn coming to that, I believe that's kind of like an edited short version. So there she's in the glider, but I'm not sure that's moving 100% with her in it. But I could be wrong. But the way that's been edited, the way the cutscenes are, I believe that's why that's been done. Plus, it's been trying to make an action sequence. Now, the explosion here didn't look great, I must admit. But, good effort. Again, the fog there didn't look great. But, Tails did actually explain that it was imported in. And it was actually bought from somewhere else. He'd actually paid for that. So, he wanted to use it. So, if it doesn't look that great, that wasn't actually part of the Veveverse. That was, he actually imported all the fog and effects in. So I'm hoping when we get in there should already be stuff like that in there for us. Now, I love the way these are posed. That looks really, really clean. I really like the way that's posed on there. And again, the collectibles do look really good in there. I do also like this one. It actually looks like he is standing on him. I do like that. Again, the poses are really good. And the collectibles do look good. Probably not on my screen right now, but they do look good. No, we don't want messages coming up. But he's done an absolute great job on that building. And as you can see, them little globes there, they're probably Coke balls. The Coke orbs probably changed them colour. That's why they're rounded, if you can see that. I reckon that's what they are. And we'll just go back to these posts just 2 seconds. I do like the way that wall looks over there. That has got a nice shine to it. And again, these posts look really good here. But we do get better PS2 games, better PS3 games in this. And that's not a kick on the creator. Now, the Coke truck looks really nice here. The colour looks really nice. The wheels are actually above water this time, so that looks really nice. Not sure what that is there. Is that the base for the collectible there? Maybe. Not sure what that is there. Because that should not be under the Coke truck. So I'm thinking that's the base. So I always thought that looks like a decal on there, right? Well, a decal or however you want to say it. But there is definitely something there. I would say that's a collectible poking through. I'm not sure if we have one that looks like that. That's got a bit of colour to it. But I'm sure that can be edited. So maybe that's what that is. But to me, that looks like a collectible rather than a decal like first thought. And that probably belongs to something. What is this right here? Again, directed by Tales from the Rizzo, written by Mr. Falcon. And it was a great attempt at the first look at the Veveverse. My only issue is the first look at the Veveverse, again, this style, should have been on a Veve official channel. And so everyone would have known about it. Some people don't watch certain channels. And it should have been on the Veve official channel. It should have been a Veve official product. So I want to see a lot more showcased here. Again, shout out to the creator. He's done a brilliant job with what he had. And it is themed after Batman, Arkham Asylum, the Joker, Harley Quinn. It is themed after Gotham. Animated collectibles used there. And I'm take it that's just down to that. So I would like to see one with more animated collectibles in there. I think the road textures could be better. But when you see outside the actual building itself, that one looked really good. So we'll just go through it one more time. Amateur hour, didn't turn my phone off. And again, credit to the creators. You can't blame this. And he actually done a big Twitter post. We'll read that after. But he done a big Twitter post basically apologising for his creation. And I don't think he should have been the one. I don't think he should have needed to apologise. I really don't. He done an absolute brilliant job. And it was fan art, like he said. It was a creation he never knew Veve were going to use to showcase. But another thing that does tell me, Veve thought this is one of the best ones in there. That's why they chose to showcase it. Again, look at the path here. The path looks really good here. If that texture was all over the roads would look 10 times better. But again, credit for making this. See, that's definitely some sort of poster or image behind there. I do really like the graffiti building. Now, I'm not sure what that was. There's some collectibles in here. I'm not sure what they are. Some images in here. Oh, just see the penguin up there as well. That was pretty cool. I do like the dark nurse here. I forgot her name now. I think it's Death Nurse or Killer Nurse. There's also a penguin in there, I believe. And again, with a James Bond mask, turned it into a Bane looking thing. That is absolutely cool. So there has been Boba Fett's used there. The non-animated ones, I want to see the animated. I'm not sure why we've not seen no animated collectibles in this video. I assumed it was down to the Batman, but you can get an animated Boba Fett, so I'm not really sure why we're not seeing any animated ones yet. Again, if you are seeing any green twinginess, that's probably my screen. Oh, and that's one of the other things I did actually want to point out. maybe the quality is downgraded a little bit. It depends where the video was first released. Sometimes when you upload to YouTube, sometimes when you upload to StreamYard or anything like that, if you don't pay for a certain quality, you only get a certain quality. So you can have the most expensive webcam in the world and it's still only going to show you at 720. I don't think that is the case with this, because as you can see with the writing at that point there looks really clear, right? You can see that is really clear writing. But again, it is going to be a little bit downgraded because my screen is not the best and I definitely need to replace this screen. And again, there is more episodes to be coming out by the looks of this. Now, the one thing I would say about this also doesn't showcase any of the community stuff, any of the streaming stuff, any of the bonding stuff, any of the VV fam stuff. It doesn't showcase any of that. This is just literally a big version of a vault. But this is what it's going to be like. You're going to be able to have as many of these sort of things as you want. And this is a great attempt. It is a great attempt. But will anyone spend as much time as some will in here? I'm not sure this is going to be for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. And the graphics are not the best. Not the best right now. I'd love to know what Callum thinks to this, or whether he actually sees this and what he thinks to this. But again, this was fan-made. It should have been a VV official thing. And if you look at the Veveverse demo, it's actually a bit of improvement on the demo. But then there's a lot of community stuff, like I'm saying, we're not seeing in this. So I don't know what to think right now based on this version of the thing. So I would tell you, yes, it doesn't look the best. The buildings definitely look a bit blocky, but have you been able to go inside the buildings? Did we see if you could go inside the buildings? Where are the buildings from? Have they been imported in off another platform, or was they just built out the cylinders and stuff? So the Batman at the end, as you can see, there is a clip of the Batman at the end. So the Batman at the end right here, as you can see, these here. So these buildings, I believe, have been made out of VV's building blocks. So I believe he's spent a lot of time making individual cylinders, squares and rectangles to make these buildings at the end. Now, the other buildings, they actually look like imported in buildings. So I wouldn't say it's bullish, but I definitely wouldn't say it's bearish at the minute. The road definitely could look better if he'd have done it with that polished out path outside Arkham Asylum or wherever it was. That would have looked better for the whole finish on the road, I must admit. And you can see he's actually had to draw them lines on, or place them lines and the squares and stuff like that. You can see all of that. So it's a great effort. But there is things you can see on the TVs, well, on the billboards, the TV. So that's pretty cool. You can see the imported backgrounds. You can see there's imported smoke effects. The comics are in there. But again, we're just seeing a minor fraction of it. So it's definitely not bearish, but it's definitely not bullish either. I'm expecting so much more. I think everyone's expecting so much more. The graphics definitely needs to improve if this is what it's going to be. But again, it's more than what the other platforms have got right now. Everyone else is soon. VV is first in this NFT. Well, I wouldn't say NFT metaverse, but they're first in this sort of style. So again, there is going to be kinks. But it's got to the point now where I do believe most of us should just be let into the Veveverse and play around now. I do believe everyone should have a fair chance, and I reckon that's what we need right now. I reckon everyone else is going to have their vaults and stuff built by the time we get in there, and I would like to be in there because I would like to have a go, because I can't judge this stuff just based on other people's opinions, what other people are doing. I have to see it from my own eyes. Other people could be bearish, they could be so bullish, and I might not feel the same. So it's one of them things you have to take in your own stride with your own eyes. So I would say the positives are, you can see the comics, you can make non-animated vehicles animated, although one is sunk into the road a little bit, but I believe that's just an error of placement rather than anything else. You can have billboards in there which seem to have images or GIFs or some sort of moving image on, should we say. I quite like that. You can place effects in there. Yes, some of the effects don't look great, but I think Tales from the Rizzo himself said he brought them from a different platform and put them in there. So I'm not sure that's a Veveverse thing right now. Right now, I can only see still collectibles, and some of them are being moved. And I'm not sure why we're not seeing any animated whatsoever. I put it down to the Batman thing, so I'm not sure. So that's one of the negatives in this one. One of the other negatives on this one, the roads look a bit cartoony, a bit out of place. And I believe if you'd have done the Arkham Asylum path texture, that looks 10 times better. That would have looked better. But again, it is a great job. One of the other negatives is we've not took a look inside any of them buildings. Are all of them buildings just outside squares, or are they actually building spaces which you can actually go in? I would like to know that. I really would. And again, with the Coke collectible, one of the other things I should say, it is pretty cool that the Coke collectible, the Coke truck's been changed. It's either a decal or collectible placed inside the truck to give that effect of the face popping through. I believe it's probably a collectible at this point because there is some sort of base going through the floor, but I'm not 100% sure because I've never been that into the black and white and the Joker. Well, I would like a Heath Ledger Joker. That's what I'd really like. Dark Knight Rises and all the Dark Knight films. One of my favorites superhero films ever, and they're really dark, and I do actually like the fact they're quite dark, and that Batman's pretty cool. So yeah, it is not the best. And one of the other things I would say is VV should have done their own thing to let someone release the first look, well, the second look of a Veveverse demo. I think is a bit silly. I think they should have made the vault themselves. I'm sure Corey could have spent some time doing it. Maybe give Ryan something to do and put him in there. But I'm sure one of them could have made their own Veveverse production. I mean, Dan had his own home space, right? But that's another thing. It looks more than a home space. So all of them buildings you could potentially walk inside. I'm not sure if you can, though. I'm not sure if you can. We didn't see that. That's the only thing. We need to see these sort of things. So that's one of the things I'd like to see in the next video. Maybe a Veveverse production. I'd like to see not one themed after one thing. I'd like to see a whole mixture of all sorts with all the sounds on and everything. I want to see animated collectibles in there too. By the way, you missed out because you should have put one of them dragons in there right at the top near that storm. That would have looked really cool, sat at the top there flying about. But yeah, it was a great effort. I can't say it wasn't a great effort. But is it bullish or bearish? I can't tell you till I actually see the whole picture. This is not the whole picture. This is one scenario. So yeah, try not to be too bad to this poor bloke because he did actually apologize on Twitter, and I don't think he needed to apologize for that. It was a great effort, absolute great effort, but it was not what everyone was expected when it was called a Veveverse tease. Just trying to find the right one. So I'm just going to have a look. I did buy some more Pokemon cards as well. I am actually going to open them on the stream. I tried to do that last time with the Pudgy Penguins and the Pokemon cards, and it went completely wrong. The VVAMA started, so yeah, that really didn't work. This is the one. This is the one. So share this tab instead. Thank you, Mr. Anad Kenobi, for sharing this with me. Right, so let's talk Simpsons NFTs, people. Simpsons NFTs. What happened with the Simpsons episode the other day? I'm not so sure it was so bearish or so bullish. In fact, I would say it was more bearish than it was bullish. So I see a lot of this at the weekend. I see a lot of people saying, wow, we're on the Simpsons. This is definitely a golden moment. Yes, it did kind of look like the golden moment. But this whole episode was not even about NFTs. I thought this whole episode was going to be about NFTs. It turned out it wasn't. So there was a couple of good bits and there was a couple of bad bits. I love the Simpsons for start off, and I can see they're getting back to their original selves. But did they just FUD the NFTs? They just happily sold Veve. Well, the IP, they sold Veve to make NFTs of. Did they happily just FUD that? Yes, I believe they did. So the episode was kind of good, and for someone that likes NFTs, blockchains, and all that malarkey, all the terminology was there, all the sentiment was there, all the FOMO bits were pretty funny, and there's so many video endings I can actually make of that. But to get to the point, a lot of people saying, yeah, it's great, golden moments, first VV NFT has the golden moments. Yeah, we always get that when we see kind of something related to VV pop out on NFTs or something like that. So with the Simpsons, for instance, the golden moments, the bot and the Homer did actually pump a little bit after this episode, but I'm a bit confused. People chose what they were sharing on Twitter because I never see. So the last thing they leave you with about NFTs is the NFT bubbles done. The picture you're seeing here is literally the last second of the last bit about NFTs. Get a drink. So yeah, this was the last scene about NFTs in the actual Treehouse Horrors. It was the brand new one, and if you really need somewhere to watch it, Flix HD will have you covered, and you can watch it for free there. So yeah, that's the site we use in England anyway, but I didn't advise you for that. But yeah, Flix HD. So anyway, I watched The Simpsons and I thought it was a really good episode. Like I was saying, there was gamification in there. The bit with Marge was really good when she was killing all the NFTs, pretty much to level up. So that was pretty cool. Again, Bart was worth so much money. They actually made fun of being the first, I would say. A lot of the times you hear, well, this is the first appearance of this. Is it the first time we've seen it? First, at one point, it was these are the first night trainers in VV. When there wasn't night trainers, I think that was Miles or one of the other collectibles. No, actually, I think that was a Matt Gondike duck. So we do have a lot of firsts in NFTs, and they did actually poke a little bit of fun at that, which I did actually appreciate. I'm not going to lie to you, I found that bit pretty funny. Because they were like, this is the first human NFT, so it was worth loads of money, which was Bart flashing his bum. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But the bit I didn't like is the last image they left you with. Well, one of the bits when they were fighting the NFTs, you did actually see the gold statue. If I was a bit more prepared, I would have pulled that up for you. But yeah, you did actually see the gold statue, and it was worth so much money and started fighting. It didn't look like the golden moments, but it kind of looked like a golden moments. We kind of knew what they were saying anyway, put it that way. But yeah, that bit was pretty funny as well. But the ending was not so funny. It was literally Homer chilling in a chair, worth $500,000 or whatever it was at the time. Don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of money. And then right at the end, the NFT cat come along, and Homer's getting massaged by this monkey here, living the life because he's worth so much money. And then all of a sudden, this cat comes over, and it's like, you've missed the NFT bubble. The NFT bubble's crashed. NFTs are worthless, and it was pretty much about NFTs being worthless. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was pretty bearish because it seemed more like it was on the side of NFTs were worth nothing. And the last visual they give you is NFTs are worth nothing, and then they move on with the episode to other things. So yeah, I wasn't 100% convinced that was good PR, to say the least. But it was a comical episode, and I can appreciate stuff with NFTs and stuff like that. And just having the wording and stuff and hearing that in The Simpsons is pretty cool. It did spread awareness, but did it spread awareness for the right reasons? No, I don't think it did. The last thing you heard is NFTs are going to zero. Luckily, with VV, they're a little bit different than what we would call NFTs, right? So that was always a good thing for me when I joined VV. They were more than just NFT, the 2D JPEGs you get on OpenSea. They were more than that. You could actually expand them. You put them in AR. You could read the comics, stuff like that. You can put them around in the vault. There will be Veveverse things for them. So they are a bit more. They've always been a bit more than that. And the one underrated thing that's always been on that app is the AR function. Taking pictures with the NFTs, showing your mates the Tyrannosaurus Rex walking around your car park and stuff. That is pretty cool. That's how you get people into NFTs. And they don't even need to know the NFTs at the time, the digital collectibles, right? Then you find out all that other stuff later on. In fact, when I first got here, I knew there were NFTs, but I didn't quite understand what an NFT was. Didn't quite understand everything that went through it. And then now I know every single detail. But it took me, I would say, 2-3 months before I started to look into every single detail of what it was with VV. That's the special thing with VV. It's a unique purpose, right? So yeah, bit bearish on that. I wouldn't say too bearish on the I wouldn't say too bearish on the Veveverse thing. There was good aspects, there was bad aspects, and thank you to the creator for sharing it, by the way. But I think next time, Veve, let's get onto that. So anyway, it's probably nearly drop stream time soon, and I'm not doing it today. I'm definitely not going for that drop. But I will be back in a week. I will be back to the Bob video sales. But that's the wrong way around. But yeah, I will be back this week. I will be doing some more deep digs. I do want to actually do some other kind of videos. I do actually have some other videos planned and stuff like that. They are VV related and stuff like that, so don't panic too much. But yeah, I do actually have some other videos planned. I actually have some UFC reaction videos that I may do in the future, or boxing, or whatever it is. But yeah, until then, until the next VV stream, next live stream, which I hope will be this week, because I'm not roofing this week. So Bob the Builder is back to bobsales and VV. So anyway, I hope you join the channel, because I have noticed that everyone's viewership's really low right now. Superstar Money, My Collectibles, every single YouTuber is really suffering right now. So if you could go and support everyone you can and tell everyone they're loved. It's hard to keep making content when your content's getting better, but your viewership's going down. So yeah, we'll get into some good ones this week. Anyway, I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. Peace!
FOMO, the fear of missing out.